Today, my friends, I've come seeking answers and help from you because I need it. What are we going to do about the housing market in Jamaica? Rental prices are through the roof, and if we're going to be honest, they have been through the roof for quite some time now. And then again, I've always seen so many persons in the comment section on NHT posts on social media saying they keep applying for houses and they can't get any. And I've also known people who have applied for homes several times. They've been in good jobs, they make solid salaries, and they still can't get a house. And you wonder, come on, can't someone get someplace to live after applying for years and years? Or what are they to do? Are they to come to terms and accept the fact that they might never own a home? Is that what we are telling people? Is that what we want people to take away from all this? I would hope not. But what I do know is that this is a conversation that we need to not just have today and forget about it tomorrow. Because I'm sure that as a country, we can do better where the housing market is concerned and where rental homes are concerned as well. So let's talk about it. My name is Brianna Vernon, and this is the Independent Report. So let us start with rental apartments, rental homes. Mm. The prices. So let me speak for at least Montego Bay, St. James, where I grew up. The prices generally, as of 2024, for a solid place where you can say, yeah, I like this place or I like this community, it would run you, let's say on average, about $70,000, $60,000 to $70,000. Yeah, for most that I'm used to seeing. There are those that are over 100,000, sure. But then on average, you'd find them for about $70,000 in Montego Bay. Well, then let's jump on over to Kingston because the same types of homes that you would possibly find for $70,000 in Montego Bay, you know what they're going for in Kingston, right? Well over $100,000. As a matter of fact, in Montego Bay, you might be able to find an okay place for 50, 60,000. Some of the places that are going for 50,000 in Kingston, you're like, is it legal to even rent a place that looks like this? And there you have the rental market in Jamaica. In several places, high prices. And for those who are unable to afford those prices, they are forced to take what they can get. The best luck you'll probably have with the rental homes is when you know someone who's renting somewhere nice. Yeah, because I've been through the whole rental process looking for a space in a quiet community, right? And I remember going through this real estate agent. Yeah, I remember going through this real estate agent, and I was so taken aback by some of the places this man literally brought me to see. I was like, are you serious? One of the places had no windows. I said, sir, come on. You couldn't be serious. I remember going there with my friend and the real estate agent, and I walked into the place and I'm like, there are no windows in here. Did this man really just bring me here? For the entire tour, I said nothing. I was too shocked. I came outside and I was just like, where else? Where else? And not even just that, but the availability as well of rental homes, rental apartments. It's like trying to trying to find a needle in a haystack, right? It is next to impossible. How I was able to find a comfortable place in a nice, quiet community was through somebody who I knew. So if you're flipping through the newspaper, looking at the listings, if you really want somewhere nice and comfortable, I don't know how well that's going to work out for you. Because, when you're searching for homes or somewhere to rent, the first thing you think of really is to check the listings. They have a bunch of spaces there for rent, apartments for rent, and homes for rent. So you're like, okay, let me look there first. You're saying you must find something that's up your alley. But then sometimes even the places, because naturally you would know that those places that cost more, 60,000 and up, specifically speaking for Montego Bay, because those are generally the prices for places that you're looking to rent. When you see somewhere for 60,000, you're like, okay, this place is gonna look nice. I remember looking at some places and being like, okay, if it's 60,000, I know that maybe I'll get a nice place. Because I mean, 60,000 is, I think that's a good amount to pay for rent. I don't know. Am I being cheap? I just think that's a good amount to pay for rent because for me, my thinking is that purchasing a home for the mortgage, you're maybe looking at what? I know some are over 100,000, but you're maybe looking at between what? 65 to 100,000. I don't know. Right? And so in my thinking, if I am going to rent somewhere for $80,000, it would make sense. We just go buy a house. But we're going to get into the housing market soon because I have some stuff to say about that as well. But if I'm going to rent somewhere for $80,000, I ain't going to do that. I don't care what you guys want to say. No matter how much money I have this belief that it just doesn't make sense to spend money on certain things. So if I'm gonna see a place for $80,000 on rent, I would just like, no, it's time for me to buy a house and pay $80,000 each month until I own this place. Because for me, that's just wasting money. And so there are some places where you look at for $60,000. And when you go to check out that place, you're like, what is this? What in the world is this that they're really renting for $60,000? Not even up to par. Sometimes the place is even unfinished. And you're like, well, I'm tuna. Anyways, so you might say to yourself, Cha, the rental market now work out for me. Let me just go and buy a house. You jump out of the pan into the fire because the housing market is a next drama, right? So for the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, the NHT, that's the National Housing Trust for those of you who may be listening overseas and you're not sure, the NHT stated that they would be building or constructing about 15,000 houses. They would start that for the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, which is just mind boggling to me because according to reports, in 2023, they didn't even surpass 2,000 homes. And the last time they were close enough to 3,000, about 2,700, was back in 2018. So, how is it that you are now going to construct 15,000 houses? NHT. Explain, please. Provide an explanation for that. Just how. And then when you even speak about getting a house now in Jamaica, they, of course, recently they recently increased the amount that you can get from the NHD to now about $7.5 million. Okay. But then if you're going to get an NHG house, you're more than likely going to have to join with someone So join your 7.5 with someone else's 7.5 to get what, 15 mil to be able to comfortably afford that house. No, why am I being forced? And why are we being forced to have to purchase a home with someone to own our home? That's something I've always just found to be ridiculous. What if I don't want to own a house with this person? What I want the house for myself. I'm now being forced to join with someone. And if the home is well above my reach, more than my little measly 7.5 can afford, and more than my joint 15 with someone else can afford, then we're now forced to go and find a third person and get what? What is that? 7.5 times 3. Somebody do the math, please. 7, 3, 21, 22.5 mil, right? So we are now being forced, three of us, if we want a certain house that might cost over 20 mil. Is this truly the freedom that we are expecting people to believe that they have? The luxury that we are telling people they have when the amount to get we would receive from NHT was increased to 7.5. And they're now saying, well, if you can't afford the house, join with someone else. Or if you can't afford that, join with a third person. Is that something that's really to be celebrated? That in order to own our homes, we have to join with other people? Wouldn't it just make sense that we stay in the family house that we were living in all along? Where's the independence in that? There's none. It's simply forcing people back into a state of codependency. So NHT, 15,000 houses. I mean, it's, uh, it's ambitious, I'll give you that. But in my desire to point out inadequacies in our Jamaican society with the aim of us dealing with them so that we can become the society that I know we are well able to become, I also have to pinpoint and highlight that there has been some good that's been coming out of our government in terms of where housing is concerned. The new social housing program, I think it's a good move. I know the government, their focus was what, 500 houses for the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, targeting the less fortunate, right? And I think that's a great goal, and it's been blessing a lot of people. And so there's that is worth celebrating. But at the same time, there is a large number of Jamaicans in our society who are looking and wondering when and if they will ever be able to own their own home. And I just know that the excuses of, oh, we are a small country, our economy can't handle it. I've always believed that Jamaica can do more than what we are seeing that's taking place. There's more that can come out of us. We have more resources that can do more. It's just for us to put those resources to use and for us to finally see those manifestations. And while people are waiting for these opportunities, they're just leaving the country. And now we are suffering from even more brain drain. Because the young and ambitious, especially, they especially don't have the time to wait around for Jamaica to get its act together. Time waits on no man or woman. So If people, if a nation's citizens can barely find comfortable places to live, which is the foundation of them being able to thrive and be at peace in their mind so that they can now take the next step in their life. How is the nation going to grow? So these are the questions I have. And at the start of this episode, I asked you guys for the answers because I don't see where the answers are coming from. So come, my independent report community, tell me what you're thinking. What answers are popping up into your head? What can we do to solve this crisis? That's where I'm going to leave it for this episode. My name is Brianna Vernon, and this was the Independent Report.